Ladies and gentlemen, the most significant battles we face are not those waged by others against us, but those we allow within our own minds. You see, no one has the power to bother you unless you give them that power. The moment you surrender control of your thoughts to the noise and distractions of the world, you become a prisoner to your own unrest. The great achievers understand that every interruption, every criticism, and every challenge is only as powerful as the meaning they assign to it. When you allow a petty insult or an unfounded criticism to penetrate your mind, you are essentially handing over your keys to peace and progress. Remember, your mind is the garden where your habits and attitudes grow. Guard it fiercely. You must train yourself to be the master of your mental domain. Practice the discipline of deciding what deserves your attention and what does not. This choice is the foundation upon which your success is built. When your thoughts align with your definite purpose, the trivial distractions that once bothered you will no longer hold power. Develop a fortress of emotional resilience within you, built not on fragile feelings but on the rock, solid understanding that your value, your peace, and your progress are governed solely by your own inner strength. When you reach this state, no external force, no matter how loud or persistent, can disturb the calm and focus required to achieve greatness. You hold the ultimate key, refuse to let anyone bother you, and you will unlock the door to your highest potential. Ladies and gentlemen, let us reflect deeply on a truth that remains constant through the ages. The greatest power any individual can possess is the power to control their own mind. This power transcends circumstances, defies external events, and ultimately shapes the very fabric of our lives. When you understand that your mind is the fortress of your destiny, you begin to realize that the real battlefield lies not in the world outside, but within yourself. The ability to master your thoughts, your emotions, and your reactions is the foundation upon which every success is built. No external situation or person can disturb your peace unless you allow it by surrendering control of your mental state. The mind, if left unattended, becomes a wild garden overrun with weeds of fear, doubt, anger, and worry. These weeds choke out the seeds of confidence, hope, and purpose. The difference between a life of chaos and one of calm power lies in the gardener's skill to cultivate the right thoughts and uproot the negative ones. It is your responsibility and your privilege to take charge of your inner world. This is not a mere suggestion or motivational catchphrase. It is a principle as scientific as gravity and as dependable as the rising sun. Your mind is yours to command. If you do not command it, something or someone else will, often to your detriment. When you allow external circumstances to control your mental state, you hand over your power willingly. The insults of others, the frustrations of daily obstacles, the uncertainties of life's challenges, none of these have inherent power over you. They are neutral forces like the wind or the rain. Their effect depends entirely on your mental attitude. You might feel disturbed, irritated, or even defeated by these forces, but the truth is that your feelings are a direct result of your own interpretation and response. In essence, you let them bother you. Consider the great leaders, inventors, and pioneers who have shaped history. They faced opposition, ridicule, and immense pressure, yet their minds remained unshaken. Their secret was not a lack of problems, but the mastery over their own thoughts. They developed the mental discipline to focus only on what served their purpose and to reject anything that did not. Their minds were like fortresses, impervious to the petty attacks that would have derailed lesser individuals. This is a skill anyone can develop, but it requires vigilance and practice. Mental control begins with awareness. You must become conscious of your thoughts as they arise. Observe which ones build you up and which ones tear you down. When a negative thought attempts to enter, challenge it immediately. Ask yourself if it is based on fact or fear. Train yourself to dismiss doubts and to replace them with affirmations of your own worth and ability. This practice strengthens your mind, much like lifting weights strengthens your muscles. Over time, your mind grows stronger, more resilient, and less vulnerable to the slings and arrows of the outside world. Furthermore, emotions are closely tied to thoughts. Unchecked, they can run wild, causing distress and confusion. But emotions are not the enemies, rather, they are indicators of what is happening inside your mind. When fear arises, it signals a thought pattern that needs to be examined and corrected. When anger flares, it reveals an expectation or belief that has been challenged. By controlling your thoughts, you naturally bring your emotions into balance. This balance is crucial because it prevents you from being reactive and impulsive. Instead, you become deliberate and calm, which enhances your ability to make wise decisions and to persevere. Imagine the power that comes from knowing no external situation can rob you of your peace unless you allow it. When the storm of criticism, setbacks, or rejection comes your way, you stand firm not because the storm is weak, but because your foundation is unshakable. You do not waste energy battling the storm itself. Instead, you focus on reinforcing your inner citadel. This mental mastery is the key to maintaining a steady course toward your goals despite the chaos of life around you. It is important to realize that this power is not innate. It must be cultivated. It demands patience, self-reflection, and the willingness to confront uncomfortable truths about your own mind. At times, you may find your thoughts drifting into negativity or your emotions overwhelming you. Do not despair. Every moment is an opportunity to redirect your mind. Think of it as a muscle that sometimes falters but with consistent training can become stronger than ever before. The consistent effort to maintain control over your mind will yield exponential returns in your personal and professional life. By mastering your mind, you are not becoming detached or indifferent. Rather, you are choosing which battles to fight and which to let pass. You gain the ability to see challenges as opportunities for growth rather than threats to your well-being. This shift in perception transforms obstacles from sources of irritation into stepping stones for success. When you refuse to let external forces disturb your mental peace, you enter a realm of creative power where solutions and innovations flourish. Your thoughts are the architects of your future. Every great achievement begins with an idea, a vision planted in the fertile soil of a controlled and focused mind. Without control, your thoughts scatter like leaves in the wind, never building the structures of success. With control, those same thoughts become the blueprints for greatness. The choice is yours. You either allow your mind to be a battlefield of confusion or a sanctuary of clarity and strength. In the end, the power to control your mind is the greatest gift you can give yourself. It is the foundation of self-mastery, the cornerstone of resilience, and the doorway to true freedom. When you command your mind, you command your life. External events may come and go, but your inner peace remains steadfast. This is the essence of true power, an unshakable calm in the face of any storm. It is yours to claim if you choose to take hold and never let go. Ladies and gentlemen, the truth that sets the foundation for personal mastery is this: no one can truly bother you unless you allow them to do so. The power to be disturbed or unaffected lies entirely within your own mind. It is not the words spoken by others, nor their actions, that have the ultimate control over your emotions and peace of mind. Instead, it is your own response, your mental reaction, that determines whether you will be shaken or remain steadfast. Imagine the many moments in life when someone's criticism, anger, or negativity threatened to unsettle you. How often have you found yourself upset, angry, or distracted by something another person said or did? The reality is that while their words or actions may have sparked your reaction, they did not compel it. You consented, consciously or unconsciously, to let those external factors penetrate your inner calm. The difference between allowing yourself to be bothered and maintaining composure is the exercise of your own mental willpower. Your mind is a sovereign territory, and you are its ruler. Just as no trespasser can enter a fortress without permission, no outside force can invade your peace unless you grant it entry. This principle is both empowering and humbling because it reminds you that while you cannot always control what others say or do, you always retain control over your response. The greatest freedom is this ability to remain unmoved by the storms that rage around you. The ability to master your response is a skill cultivated by the most successful and mentally strong individuals. They recognize that reacting impulsively or emotionally to provocation only hands away their power. Instead, they train themselves to pause, observe their feelings, and then choose their response deliberately. This practice transforms them from victims of circumstance into masters of their destiny. When you learn to master your response, you effectively set boundaries that protect your mental and emotional well-being. You choose which battles are worth fighting and which are best left to pass. You recognize that sometimes the best answer is silence, the best action is patience, and the best power is self-control. In doing so, you conserve your energy for the pursuits that truly matter, the goals and dreams that define your life's purpose. It is essential to understand that the permission to be bothered is an internal agreement you make. When you feel offended, hurt, or angry, it is because your mind has accepted the external input as a personal attack or a threat. But this acceptance is a choice, not a necessity. You can choose to reinterpret the event, detach from its emotional charge, and maintain your equilibrium. This shift in perception is a sign of true mental strength. Consider the metaphor of a castle under siege. The castle's walls remain strong not because they repel every arrow, but because the gatekeepers control who enters. Your mind functions the same way. Your thoughts are the gatekeepers, and your emotions are the guards. By training these gatekeepers to deny entry to negative, harmful influences, you preserve the sanctity of your inner life. No matter how fierce the external assault, your mental fortress stands unbreached. The ability to not be bothered is also closely linked to self-confidence and self-worth. When you deeply understand your own value, you become impervious to criticism and negativity that once might have wounded you. You no longer seek validation from others because you know your worth is not determined by their opinions. This inner certainty shields you from the emotional turmoil caused by trying to please everyone or living according to others' expectations. Moreover, mastering your response fosters resilience. Life will inevitably present challenges, opposition, and criticism. But when you refuse to be bothered by these external forces, you develop the resilience to keep moving forward. Obstacles become lessons rather than barriers, and setbacks become stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. This mental toughness is a hallmark of those who achieve lasting success and fulfillment. To cultivate this mastery, start by becoming aware of your triggers, those moments or interactions that tend to bother you. Reflect on why they have such an impact. Is it because of a fear, a past wound, or a belief you hold? Awareness is the first step to reclaiming control. Then, practice the art of detachment. Observe your emotions without immediately reacting. Ask yourself if the situation truly deserves your disturbance or if you are giving it more power than it merits. Finally, remember that mastering your response is a lifelong discipline, not a one-time event. Each day presents opportunities to practice calm, self-control, and deliberate reaction. Over time, these habits become second nature, and you gain a profound sense of peace and empowerment. You no longer allow others to dictate your mental state. Instead, you create the conditions for your own success and happiness by choosing not to be bothered. In this power lies freedom, the freedom to live your life on your own terms, free from the chains of unnecessary emotional disturbance. It is a power that transforms you from a passive participant in your life to an active creator of your destiny. You hold this power now, and with consistent practice, you will wield it with increasing mastery every day. Ladies and gentlemen, when you fix your mind firmly on a definite major purpose, the distractions of the world lose their grip over you. This focus is not simply a matter of preference. It is a law of success that has been proven time and time again by the greatest minds and achievers in history. When your mind is occupied with a clear, purposeful goal, There is no room left for the petty disturbances and trivial annoyances that otherwise might shake your peace or divert your energy. Think of your mind as a spotlight in a dark theater. When you shine that light with precision on one single object, everything else fades into the background. This focused illumination allows you to see clearly, to act decisively, and to channel all your strength and resources toward what truly matters. But when your mind is scattered, trying to attend to every noise, every criticism, every distraction, it becomes weak and ineffective. You become like a lamp with a shattered reflector, spreading light in many directions but illuminating none. The human mind, if it drifts without purpose, is easily swayed by outside influences. Negative comments, social pressures, unexpected setbacks, and the endless barrage of information all conspire to pull your attention away from your path. When you lack a definite major purpose, you become vulnerable to these forces, and your mental energy dissipates like water leaking through a sieve. But with a clear goal, your mind acts like a magnet, drawing in the thoughts, ideas, and people that align with your vision, and repelling those that do not. Focusing on your definite purpose also creates a filter for your emotions. Challenges and criticisms, which once might have triggered frustration or anger, now become simply facts to be dealt with, not threats to your well-being. This shift in perception is crucial because it prevents emotional reactions from hijacking your progress. Instead of being bothered by every little disturbance, you maintain a steady course, knowing that each experience either serves your purpose or is irrelevant to it. History is full of examples of individuals who faced immense adversity but remained unshaken because their focus was unwavering. They knew exactly what they wanted to achieve and refused to let distractions interfere. Their clarity of purpose acted like a shield, protecting their minds from the noise of doubt and discouragement. This clarity did not mean they ignored reality or challenges. Rather, it meant they refused to be derailed by them. The development of a definite major purpose is not accidental. It requires deliberate thought, reflection, and a strong commitment. You must ask yourself, what is the one thing that, if accomplished, would bring the greatest fulfillment and success in my life? Once you identify this purpose, you must make it the central point around which all your thoughts and actions revolve. This unwavering focus becomes your compass in the storms of life. Furthermore, focusing on your definite purpose harnesses the power of your subconscious mind. The subconscious is a powerful ally, but it works best when given clear instructions. When your conscious mind is clear and focused, your subconscious mind automatically works to bring that vision to reality. It directs your energy, creativity, and decision making toward your goal, even when you are not actively thinking about it. Distractions often appear in the form of negative influences, people who doubt you, circumstances that challenge you, or fears that plague you. But when your purpose is definite and dominating, these distractions lose their power. You no longer see them as obstacles, but as temporary challenges that must be overcome on your way to success. This mindset turns distractions into stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. Your focus on your purpose also shapes your habits and daily routine. The activities that once seemed tedious or irrelevant become meaningful because they serve your larger goal. This sense of meaning fuels your persistence and endurance, helping you push through difficulties and maintain consistency. Without focus, motivation wanes and the temptation to be bothered by trivial matters grows stronger. In essence, focusing on your definite major purpose is the antidote to being bothered by external disturbances. It trains your mind to prioritize what truly matters, to ignore what does not, and to maintain a state of calm and determination in the face of challenges. This focus does not isolate you from the world. Rather, it connects you more deeply to your potential and your power to create the life you desire. Remember, your mind can be your greatest friend or your greatest enemy. When you focus it on a definite purpose, it becomes a powerful instrument for achievement. Without focus, it becomes a battleground of conflicting thoughts and emotions, easily disturbed by the trivialities of life. The choice is yours to make. Will you let your mind wander and be bothered, or will you harness it with clear purpose and direction? The answer to this question will shape your destiny. Ladies and gentlemen, the foundation of true success and inner peace is built upon mental discipline. The ability to govern your thoughts and maintain control over your mind regardless of external circumstances. Without this discipline, your mind becomes vulnerable, like a ship without a rudder tossed about by every wave of emotion, distraction, or challenge. The individual who masters mental discipline gains a level of freedom and power few ever achieve, for they refuse to be a slave to fleeting feelings or outside interference. Mental discipline is not something granted by chance. It is a skill cultivated with intention and persistence. It requires training the mind to stay focused on what is important and to dismiss or overcome thoughts that lead to doubt, fear, or agitation. This is the hallmark of those who achieve greatness. They do not allow every negative impulse or disruptive influence to pull them away from their course. Instead, they exercise control, remaining calm and composed even in the most trying situations. When your mind is disciplined, you become the master of your environment rather than its victim. You learn to recognize the difference between useful stimuli and unnecessary noise. You develop the ability to filter out distractions that would otherwise consume your energy and attention. This clarity is vital because mental energy is finite. Wasting it on petty worries or emotional turmoil diminishes your capacity to solve problems and seize opportunities. The practice of mental discipline begins with awareness, the conscious observation of your own thoughts and feelings. When you notice a negative thought arising, you do not allow it to take root unchecked. Instead, you challenge it, question its validity, and replace it with a constructive alternative. Over time, this process strengthens your mental muscles, enabling you to maintain control even when faced with pressure or provocation. Discipline also means consistency. Just as an athlete trains daily to build strength and endurance, your mind requires regular exercise in focus and control. This might involve practices such as meditation, visualization, or setting clear daily intentions. These habits reinforce your ability to stay centered and undisturbed. Without consistent effort, the mind easily reverts to old patterns of distraction and reactivity. One of the greatest benefits of mental discipline is emotional resilience. When your mind is strong and well trained, your emotions become steady rather than erratic. You no longer react impulsively to setbacks or criticisms. Instead, you respond thoughtfully and strategically, conserving your energy for what truly matters. This emotional stability allows you to navigate challenges with confidence and grace, transforming obstacles into opportunities for growth. Mental discipline also fosters clarity of purpose. When your thoughts are orderly and focused, your goals become clearer and your path forward becomes more defined. Confusion and indecision, which often arise from a chaotic mind, give way to decisive action. This clarity is essential for achieving long-term success, as it prevents you from being swayed by fleeting doubts or distractions. Consider the impact of mental discipline on your daily life. Instead of being tossed about by every criticism, setback, or disturbance, you maintain a steady course. You conserve your mental and emotional resources for constructive efforts rather than dissipating them in frustration or worry. This disciplined mindset is a form of self-respect and self-mastery that sets successful individuals apart from the rest. It is important to understand that mental discipline does not mean suppressing emotions or ignoring problems. Rather, it means managing your internal responses so that you can deal with reality effectively. It is the difference between being controlled by circumstances and controlling your circumstances through thoughtful action. This control is the hallmark of leadership and personal power. The path to mental discipline may not always be easy. It requires patience, persistence, and self-compassion. You will encounter moments of weakness and distraction, but each time you regain control, you build strength and resilience. Over time, the effort becomes second nature, and your mind becomes a fortress that no external force can breach. By cultivating mental discipline, you lay the groundwork for a life of achievement, peace, and fulfillment. You create a mental environment where success can flourish, free from the chaos of unnecessary disturbance. This discipline empowers you to rise above challenges, maintain your focus, and keep moving forward toward your goals with unwavering confidence. Ladies and gentlemen, emotional resilience is the unseen armor that protects you from the storms of life and enables you to stand firm when faced with adversity, criticism, or opposition. It is the inner strength that keeps your spirit unbroken and your mind steady, no matter what challenges come your way. Without emotional resilience, even the smallest obstacles can feel overwhelming, and the harsh words or actions of others can deeply wound your confidence and peace of mind. Building emotional resilience begins with understanding that your feelings, though real and valid, do not have to control your actions or define your worth. You are not your emotions, rather, you are the observer and the master of them. When difficulties arise, the resilient individual does not allow negative emotions like fear, anger, or sadness to dictate their responses. Instead, they acknowledge these feelings, understand their source, and choose how to act in spite of them. This choice is the essence of true strength. Life is filled with inevitable trials, rejections, failures, setbacks, and disappointments. Yet, it is not these events themselves that determine your future, but how you respond to them. Emotional resilience gives you the capacity to recover quickly, to learn from experience rather than be defeated by it. It transforms failure into a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. This ability to bounce back is cultivated through a conscious commitment to maintain your mental and emotional balance. One of the key elements of emotional resilience is perspective. When you view challenges as temporary and specific rather than permanent and pervasive, you reduce their power to shake you. This mindset helps you stay focused on solutions instead of being trapped in the despair of the problem. It allows you to keep your eyes on your goals and your faith in your ability to overcome, even when circumstances appear unfavorable. Another essential aspect of emotional resilience is self-awareness. Knowing your emotional triggers and how they influence your behavior enables you to prepare and respond with greater control. When you recognize early signs of emotional upset, you can take deliberate steps, such as deep breathing, reflection, or seeking support, to regain calm and clarity. This proactive approach prevents emotions from escalating into reactions that might harm your progress or relationships. Resilience also thrives on the support of your inner values and beliefs. When your sense of purpose is strong, you draw strength from the knowledge that setbacks are part of the journey toward your higher goals. This foundation helps you endure criticism or opposition without losing sight of your worth or direction. Your emotions become allies rather than enemies, fueling your determination instead of draining your energy. Moreover, emotional resilience fosters patience and perseverance. It reminds you that success rarely comes without struggle and that enduring hardship is often necessary to achieve greatness. With resilience, you develop the habit of persistence, refusing to be discouraged by temporary difficulties. This habit keeps you moving forward steadily, turning obstacles into opportunities to grow stronger and wiser. Developing emotional resilience is not an overnight process. It requires consistent effort, reflection, and sometimes the willingness to face uncomfortable feelings head on. Each challenge you overcome adds to your reservoir of strength, making you better equipped to handle the next. Over time, you become less vulnerable to being bothered by the negativity or opposition that once might have shaken you. In essence, emotional resilience is the key to maintaining your composure and confidence regardless of external pressures. It is the internal resource that allows you to remain centered, to respond with grace under fire, and to continue pursuing your purpose undeterred. When you cultivate this resilience, you create a mental and emotional environment where success, peace, and fulfillment can flourish, no matter the trials you encounter.